so stimulated just like making eggs and dumping them. Maybe one of my neighbors would have been helping me deliver a baby by candlelight. Hey there, my name is Jana, and today I just wanted to give a TTC update because it's been several weeks since I uploaded that video announcing that we're likely going to be doing IVF, and a lot has happened since then. So I want to get into basically all the labs that we had to do that the fertility specialist ordered for us, the information that we got from that, what I've been up to since then, and how I'm preparing to potentially, hopefully, most likely start IVF. And the last two things seem kind of unrelated, but the due date of my first pregnancy that resulted in a miscarriage just came and went a couple of days ago, and I also live in Texas, Austin, Texas specifically, so you might know that we were recently impacted by a crazy winter storm with snow and ice and below freezing temperatures for days, which for some of you might be something that you're totally used to, but here we are not used to that, and our infrastructure is not set up for that. So people were left without electricity, heat, food, water, weren't able to drive places for days. Our pipes burst. People have lost everything in their homes. It's been honestly an absolute catastrophe. I will say right off the bat that I have been very, very lucky in all of this. Nothing too bad happened, and we are doing a-okay, but a lot of people, that's not the situation. So I'll talk about this a little bit more later and kind of how it ties into the first miscarriage due date, because they are kind of related in the way that I want to talk about it, if that makes any sense. But anyways, just want to send a quick reminder that if you're not subscribed already, please do so we can keep on hanging out. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram at JanaDHope. It's also in the description box below if you need to see it, so that you can see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis. Or you can feel free to shoot me a DM literally at any time, and I will most likely, almost probably 100% respond to you. Unless you send something weird, then maybe I won't respond. But the last thing I'm going to say before I jump into all my updates is that those of you who have followed me on Instagram and sent me a DM either saying that you saw my videos and they had some sort of impact on you, or you're rooting for me or sending positive thoughts and loves, I can't tell you how much that means to me. I mean this from the bottom of my freaking heart. Genuinely, it brightens up my day. And it's so nice to hear that, because from my perspective, I'm literally just talking to like a green dot on my phone by myself in my house with the light around me. So it's really nice to know that there is like a human connection behind all of this, and it's great. And the other thing is that I just want to say thank you to those of you who have reached out to me, either in the comments on YouTube or on my DMs and Instagram, sharing your story with me, because I know that it can take a lot to open up to somebody, and it's a really personal, really private thing. So I am honored that you feel comfortable enough to share that with me, and you feel like I'm a person that you could talk to about it, or just listen, or have somebody to listen to you about it. I know how much that means, because I'm in a situation where I want people like that. And I've said before that I have a great community and network of people around me for support, and that's so true, I do. But my closest friend group and even my family, no one has really been in a situation like mine, or they're not on the same life stage. And so yes, they're very, very helpful, and I'm so grateful for them. But it's also different having people like whoever's watching this that is in it, even if our situation is not exactly the same, like you get it and you understand, and it's nice to have somebody who understands you and can relate to you. So it goes both ways, like from me to you to me. So if you feel comfortable enough and you feel like I'm someone that you want to talk to, I'm more than happy to talk to you, and I think it will do us both some good. So okay, let me get done with all of that sappy stuff and plugging and whatever. Let me just get into what I'm going to talk about today. So first, labs. My fertility specialist, in the consultation, I've only had one appointment with her. She ordered several labs for myself and a couple for my husband that I think are just kind of standard of care. I don't remember what all of them are off the top of my head. Some of them I had done before, and some of them were brand new. But if you want a video about that, I'm more than happy to make one. Just let me know in the comments if that's something that you want to hear about, like all of the labs that I've done so far specifically and the results. But in a nutshell, everything came back completely normal. I didn't receive the results, but like the lab reports themselves, so I didn't see the values myself, but they told me that everything was normal with one exception. I have a low vitamin D score. So I think the particular ranges for the lab that they used were like 30 to 100, and mine was like 29. So it was just out of range. But I have been taking 1,400 IUs of vitamin D every single day. So part of that is in my prenatal, and part of that is an additional supplement that I was taking of just vitamin D. So I thought that I was good. But as you can tell, I have not seen much sun lately, so they recommended that I boost my vitamin D to 2,000 IUs, and honestly, I just feel like I would rather be in the like upper range of that, mid to upper range of the accepted score of vitamin D if I can, because it's a really important thing, and honestly, most people are deficient. So I went ahead and bumped up my vitamin D intake to 5,000 IUs a day. There's still a long way to go before it's toxic by any means. So I'm gonna bump it up, and then I'll probably ask to be rechecked for my vitamin D score just to make sure that I'm back in range, because that's really important for so many things, bone health, and like my body as well as future baby's body and development. I also had my HSG, which I mentioned that I had to get in my IVF announcement video. If you don't know what that is, I'll just briefly explain. It's an imaging thing of your uterus and your fallopian tubes to make sure that everything is anatomically good, that there's not any scarring, any polyps, fibroids, any blockage of your fallopian tubes. And I actually recorded a whole video about this HSG procedure because I felt like I had a good amount to say, like enough for it to be its own video. But my resident Russian, aka my husband, he like was on the fence, like kind of vetoing it because he thought it was a little too personal. I honestly feel like I've shared way more personal things. I don't think it was like that graphic or in detail, but heads up, they have to put like a balloon and a catheter inside your uterus, and I explained that, and I think he thought that was like a lot of detail, but that's just what the procedure is. I don't know. So if you want to see my video about the HSG procedure, let me know in the comments below or whatever, and maybe I will post it. I don't think that it was anything crazy, and I think it would be important and helpful for people to know if that's something that you have to get done. Anyways, moving on. So yes, got the lab results. Everything looks mostly good. One thing that I do want to check on is my thyroid. Although it came back normal, there are a couple more tests that I think I might want run, so I'm probably going to request that during my follow-up appointment, which is actually in 2 days. So if I can get on top of my stuff, hopefully you'll be seeing this tomorrow, which will be the day before my appointment. Fingers crossed. If you're seeing this later, then I didn't make it, sorry. But okay, that's enough with labs. So what have I been up to since my last appointment, and how have I been preparing to kind of start IVF? So first, last week, like I was mentioning about Texas, was like the winter craziness. So that's why I missed posting a video, because I like didn't have power and didn't have running water and hadn't showered in days, and it just like wasn't something that could happen. So that's why I missed that, and that was a lot of what I've been up to. But I did a 30-day yoga challenge because I was really wanting to get active, get healthy with my body, and yoga felt like something that was really doable. Not that it's not challenging, but it can be relaxing and challenging at the same time. So I did that, and it was amazing. I will link below the YouTube account that the challenge was on, and if you'd like for me to post a video about that challenge and kind of how it changed me and my results from it and my experience, I'm happy to do that. In fact, I'll probably just do it anyways, even if you don't ask for it, because I liked it and I thought it was cool, and I want to share that because maybe it'll help somebody else. But so yeah, I've been working out again, starting some weight training. I feel like I've been eating pretty healthy, moderation. I have started to lose some weight, and that was not a direct goal, but it was kind of in the back of my mind, but it's not something, like, I'm not weighing myself every day. I don't have a target goal in mind. My main thing is, like, I just want to feel like my body is healthy and in a good place to prepare for IVF. One of the things that I've heard about IVF is that there is a period during the process that you cannot work out at all, based on my understanding, because there is a risk of torsion for your ovaries, because basically they're being so stimulated, just like making eggs and dumping them, that they can get like all twisted up, and it can be a really bad thing. So I want to be sure that I'm in like the best shape that I can be until I go into that period where I can't work out at all. I've also been focusing on trying to manage my stress and anxiety and focus, because I mean, like, let's be honest, a lot's happened to me and it's a lot to process, and I want to make sure that I am physically prepared but also mentally prepared to go into the next steps of IVF. So yeah, I've been working on that. If you want to hear more about specifically what I've been doing, there is more to it, so you can let me know if you want me to talk about that. I'm happy to talk about my own mental health and the journey and how that process has been, because yes, most of the time I am like very positive and generally pretty happy, but it's not always like that, and I don't share and show everything, but I would be willing to start a conversation about that if you guys want to hear about that. The last thing that I want to talk about is that, yeah, so a couple of days ago was actually the due date, had my first pregnancy continued and not ended in a miscarriage. And I would say that the first miscarriage was the most devastating and traumatic to me of the three. I think just because it was the first one and I had nothing but excitement, no fears or worries really. I still had that like pregnancy innocence, as I kind of like to call it. I've heard other people say that. And the pregnancy also went pretty far along. Like, I was almost 13 weeks whenever I found out that the baby was no longer growing. So we had like seen the heartbeat and heard the heartbeat, and I was showing, I had a belly, I had planned a gender reveal. So it was just a lot more had gone on and been built up. And yeah, so that's been on my mind a little bit lately, that wow, what a different place I would be in had that not happened. But also that due date coincided with this crazy Texas disaster. So at one point last week, when all the craziness was going on, this thought popped into my head that, oh my gosh, there is a possibility that, like, in some world that had that pregnancy continued, I could have ended up giving birth at home with no access to a hospital because the roads were completely frozen over, no running water, potentially no electricity and heat. And that thought came to my mind and just glazed over me, and I got like a little instance of panic of, oh my gosh, how would that have been? That would have been crazy. And you know, probably I would have been okay. I don't know. I think some of my neighbors are nurses or something like that. Like, maybe one of my neighbors would have been helping me deliver a baby by candlelight. But anyways, I'm not saying by any means that I'm grateful that things didn't work out, but it's just, I think, kind of interesting to think about how differently a situation I would be in. But you know what? I'm doing good now. And this is the journey that I'm on. We're living in the present day. So essentially the next steps I'm looking forward to is the follow-up appointment with the fertility specialist, like I said, in 2 days. So I think that that's when we're gonna give the official, like, go ahead, like, yes, we're doing IVF. What are the next steps? How do we get started? They said that the whole process takes like 2.5 months. So I still need to speak to the doctor, obviously, but I'm thinking that it would be likely to be done with the process in maybe May 2021. I don't know for sure, but I'll keep you posted. But in the meantime, if there's anything else that you would like for me to talk about, and I mean, it could be TTC related, or it could be literally anything else about my life. Like, I don't know if you guys are interested in any kind of like vlog videos or whatever, if you even care about my life, or you just want to talk about the TTC stuff, whatever. sorry, my light just went out. But yeah, let me know and maybe that's something I'll do. But anyways, thank you so much for following along and listening to this video. If you've got any questions or whatever, leave them in the comments below, DM me on Instagram. But I hope that you have a wonderful day, be a good human, and we will chat very soon.